everybody. I'm back. I'm back and I'm half asleep, so this is going to be a short show. But let's just wait and see who comes on in today. We'll let the crowds rush in. We'll let the bodyguard keep out the riffraff and let the stampede flow. Or we'll see if everybody else is asleep and nobody expected me to be here today, which is entirely possible and highly likely at this point. Let's see here. Let me get my chit chat window open. Got to get that open. Pop out Z-Chat and let's see who's here. Excellent. Nobody's here yet. At least nobody's chatting if they are. Hey, there's somebody. Abraham Velasquez. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Let me get this. Oh, that's not right. How do I do this? And the construction podcast. Good morning to you. Let me get my window set up the right size here so I can see it. I'm gonna have to refigure this one out. Daddy MCC. Brian McGrew. Excellent. We have people. We do. This is exciting. All right, so let me see. I'm going to make sure I get everything set up. It's just like one of those kind of, I'm all over the place shows. Like I hadn't even started recording yet. Don't usually use the pre-show anyway, but it's probably a good thing to have. All right, let's see. That's set. That is set. This is in place. How? Do you guys? Was anybody on the audience here at NAB and already home, or are you guys all still there and hungover? Which is probably the more likely case. Marco Corzani, greetings. Welcome back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, I know we still don't have the timer set up. That's still one of those things. The problem with going to NAB, it's like all these new toys. I go, I could put this in here and I could do that. If only I had $100,000, I could do everything. But there's some really cool stuff. Really cool. Brian McGrew says, you were at NAB. You wish you'd realized sooner. Man, I don't know how you missed that. I talked about it every day on the show. I tweeted it, Facebooked it. I did a meetup while we were there. We broadcast that live. Not really, because I actually don't know why that broadcast didn't work. That was such a screw up. I honestly don't know if it was the VDU. If it was a YouTube thing, it's just a complete disaster. And we didn't get it recorded because I was streaming it and recording it to the video as a backup. I thought, I don't need to record it in the GH5 as well. Apparently I should have, because that would have at least been a copy that we could have kept. But the one that streamed didn't really stream. Although something did stream, it showed up later in this weird, bizarre, I blame YouTube. I blame everything except for me. And the fact that we were there like 2 minutes before we were supposed to start. That couldn't have anything to do with it. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Martin says you fixed video then. I fixed video here. I don't know what you're talking about. We just certainly didn't get it fixed out there. Oh, Brian, you didn't find me till yesterday. Oh, you're brand new to the channel. Well, welcome to the channel. Well, then next year you'll have to catch up with us in NAB because this is an annual thing. Absolutely. Brian McGrew only made it through North, half of Central, and Black Magic South. 2 days is too short. 2 days is too short. I was there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and a little bit of Thursday morning. So basically the entire time. We left it like a little before noon on Thursday. And definitely, I didn't even get to the South upstairs. And we barely touched North, although North is kind of like no man's land for me. But yeah. Did you see the virtual reality game thing in North? That was cool. That was fun to play in. We did like little, what did we do? It was like Godzilla. We like Godzilla picking up cars off the ground and throwing them at helicopters in the sky. That was pretty awesome. Actually, here. I've got video. I've got video of Ryan. Okay, this is Ryan. We get to play this for the live audience only. Let's see here. Is it? Oh, it hasn't synced over there. Where's my phone? This is fun. This will be entertaining. You get to see Ryan playing around with the Godzilla. I put this on my Instagram stories, but if you're not following that, then you wouldn't have seen it. And of course, most people miss those anyway. Where's the videos? Here we go. Videos. And let's do. Oh, that's the actual. Shush. Stop. Quiet. Good Lord. Actually, this is fine because this is the actual Instagram story. Okay, here we go. Is this right? Is this hooked up? That is not hooked up. Hold on. One more plug to change. Kind of had everything torn up for something else right before I left on the trip, and had not reset everything. There we go. Okay, here, check this out. Do you guys hear it? Ryan, do they hear it? Oh, why isn't the audio coming through? Well, that's lame. Oh, well, so you get it without audio. But here we can just see Ryan. Okay, there's no audio. There he's like knocking over people and cars and swatting airplanes out of the sky. It was cool. It was a fun thing. I don't know why that's not playing with sound though. But so there, you can see. Let me back up there. You can kind of see. Oops, sorry. Let me back up. There we go. It's kind of hard to see, but kind of middle right, there's like little green part that you can see the Godzilla's head and his hands. Do you see those there? That's what's tracking for Ryan's head and hands, and then that's him there and obviously grabbing things, picking up cars on the ground, picking up people, knocking down buildings. It was entirely too much fun. It was the first kind of coolish VR experience that I've had. It was a good time. Wouldn't you agree, Ryan? That was fun. It was like the guy said you can pick up people off of the ground and put them onto buildings. And what I figured out finally after I was knocking down buildings was you can actually pick up pieces of the buildings and then you can throw them. So you can like pick up a piece of a building and throw it at an airplane, and you might miss it, you might hit it. It was fun. All right, shall we do a show? Let's do a show. Let's have a show. Yeah, all right, let's do this thing. I'm back from NAB. We're going to talk a little bit about what I saw, maybe some of the things I didn't, see what you might have seen if you were there, and just basically catch up before I fall asleep, because, man, I am tired. Greetings, good mornings, and salutations. This is PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. Welcome. We're tired. Ryan and I both came in this morning like, are you kidding me? Why are we here? It is 9:30 on Friday morning, the day after the last day of NAB. We flew home last night. Oh, that was a 2-hour journey that took like 6 hours because Allegiant decided their airplane didn't work and they had to get us a new one and stick us on the ground and then not even give us any free drinks. No, yay, go Allegiant. No, really, that's cool. No, really. When you keep your passengers on the ground for 4 additional hours, it's totally cool to not offer any complimentary beverages. I'm all down with that. Other than that, it was awesome. So welcome to the show. If you've never seen this before, you're wondering why you're here, this is PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. It's a live show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in theory, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, right here at youtube.com/PhotoJoseph. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit the bell, hit the bell. And, of course, if you're watching live, the beauty of that is you get to participate in the comments. You get to chit-chat, and I get to see you here and see who's here live. And these people are all here live. If you want to get my attention, you put at PhotoJoseph in front of it, and I see it. And I can address your questions from there. Normally, we kind of split the show into a Q&A separate thing, but today's topic is not really a set. We're not like talking about a thing, so we're just kind of all over the place. So throw out your questions, your comments as we go. We'll try and keep this relatively brief, mainly just because if I stop talking, I will fall asleep. I'm convinced of it. Ryan is saying was better at it. Oh, that I was better at it. Oh, the VR thing. So we were playing. Ryan, I'm gonna play it anyway. I'm gonna play it for the whole world to see because it was just too cool. Ryan's telling me that I'm up on on Instagram. Oh, just bring me your phone. Then I can plug your phone in. That'll be easier. So Ryan and I played with a little VR gaming thing over at NAB. Just kind of walking by like, oh, they got a little VR gaming thing here. And there's people in there dancing around having fun. So they put on the goggles and hand things. It wasn't like full bodysuit. We're not talking Ready Player One or anything here. But we played this game where you are Godzilla and you're mashing airplanes out of the sky and knocking down buildings and picking up cars. And I figured out that you can pick up pieces of the building that you've knocked over, pick up cars and throw them and smash them together. And it was truly fun. It was really, really cool. That was a Vive? Yeah, the Vive system. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see here. This is my Instagram story. Incidentally, you guys probably, I don't talk about this really, but we have, let's wait for this thing to sync up. We have what's the Instagram? An Instagram channel for the show. Now, I talked about this a while ago. We actually bought an Instagram account that had 30-something thousand followers. It's actually up. It's up to 35. Didn't we start with 32? How can we be up that high? Maybe it was higher than that and we dropped down. We're at 35,000 now. Well, that's really good. I don't know why people are following this or hardly doing anything on it. Anyway, so if you're not following this, look, it's PhotoJoseph Photo Moment. That's the account, PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. That's kind of annoyingly a very long name to find in there. But anyway, PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. So you can type that in, follow that. And we kind of do some behind the scenes. We try to do some behind the scenes live even before we go, or at least post to the stories before we go live. And it's just kind of a fun, another little way to promote things. But check it out. It's got a ton of followers, which is great. The whole idea was to build attraction to the show. But I think the people that were following it before aren't really expecting this kind of content. We don't have to talk about what kind of account it was before that I bought. Anyway, in here somewhere there is the story. Let's see, if I tap this, yeah, there we go. So there you can see, we're not getting the audio, but there you can see me. Well, that's a great shot, Ryan. So you can see the Godzilla on the screen, just the head and the hands. And then that's me, obviously, in the background there, grabbing and smashing at things. And as you turn around and look around, you see everything. It was super, super fun and cool. So that was thank you, Ryan, for bringing the phone out here. That was a lot of entertainment. But that is not what NAB is all about, but that's still something that we played with while we were there. You want your phone back? We saw, there's tons of broadcast stuff, tons of lighting. It's unbelievable how many companies are doing LED lighting. It's, honestly, it's one of those things you're like, okay, it's a good quality light and it's a price point, like it's an expensive one or a cheap one. How do you possibly decide? And there are lights that are $1,000 for a little light and then lights that are $100 for a little light. Obviously, a lot of quality differences. And if you're really kind of setting up a massive studio, I think it would be quite beneficial to go around and look at all the different lights and figure out exactly the features that you need and find the price point that agrees with you. But man, there's so many lighting companies. There's also a ton of companies making gimbals now. Those are everywhere. So it's cool to see. You know, I've got the iCan, which I'll be doing some more on later, which incidentally, and I'll do a show just about this, but the iCan device now has an app, so you can configure the iCan controller through an app that was just released. I haven't even installed it yet, but if you have an iCan gimbal, check that out. So there's gimbals everywhere, sliders everywhere. One of the coolest things that I saw was in my video, which incidentally, if you haven't seen, we'll link to it up here, but I did like a very mini recap video of the show floor, and basically all it really was is the cool things that I saw that I thought were worth taking a little bit of video of. And I'll just show you what I'm talking about here real quick. Cool thing is, here, let me just switch over to this, is I did all the editing for the video that was released the other day and the one that's going to get released right after the show. I'll tell you about that in a moment. I did that entirely using LumaFusion and shooting on the GH5, importing into LumaFusion, and editing from here and uploading from the iPad. This is really cool. So here, this is, I was talking about sliders. Here we go. Here we go. This guy, this new little guy from Edelkrone is like a robotic, it's like a Roomba, basically. It's a platform with wheels that you can control from your phone, and it becomes a slider, so it makes essentially any flat surface a slider of infinite length. So if you've got a really long table, you can put this on. You can have a really long slider. You can put it on the floor. It was super cool. I thought that was it really wasn't that expensive. I don't remember what it was, but I remember seeing it going, oh, that's actually not too bad, especially for Edelkrone. Their stuff is a little spendy. I think worth it, but I think it's really pretty clever. Oh, incidentally, for those who were asking and wondering, remember I talked about when I was in Europe and I had my Edelkrone Slider 1 and I couldn't use it because it required a firmware update. I have updated that since I got back, so it was absolutely 100% an internet connection issue. They have yet to respond to my complaint about why the heck isn't the firmware update downloaded with the software update. So if I ever hear from them about that, I'll let you know. But the slider works perfectly well now that it's been updated. Super annoying. This is, I know people have been asking about this already in comments on it. This thing is so cool. So check this thing out, and I'm going to talk about this more, and I'm actually going to get this on the show. But watch what happens here. Look at that. It goes green screen and blue screen, and it's all done with an LED light and this very special background fabric. That gray fabric right there is the, come on, find the right frame. There we go. That gray fabric right there is a very special fabric that the company makes, and it's got like a million little tiny glass beads per square, whatever. But they're perfectly formed glass beads so that no matter, they can be all crunched up, right? It could be, the material could be like this, and the light will reflect directly back at where at the direction it came from. So you have a ring light that goes over your lens, it shoots the light straight out, that light bounces straight back, and you only see the green screen through the lens. You step off axis and the green screen goes away. It's incredible. They sell it at B&H, so I'm gonna get them to send me a pack of it so that I can do a demo in here. We'll hang it up behind me, you can like wrap it around. It's wicked cool. I can't wait to play with that on there. I think that's gonna make for a really fun live show. So that was a really entertaining thing that I saw. I was excited about that. Check this thing out. This is bitchin'. So this little guy here, so here we have a GH5 on a massive DJI drone. It was like the M600, I think is what it was. And it's kind of hard to tell here, but right in the very center, you see the kind of little white hexagonal shaped thing right in the very top center of that? Let me make it a little bigger. The white hexagonal shape in the top center, that is a parachute. Good idea, right? And so if the drone loses power, if it tilts more than 45 degrees, that parachute deploys in something like 0.06 seconds or some ridiculous thing, and it brings the drone to a slow falling speed in something like 10 meters or even less. It's very, very fast. So you've got a big old drone flying around in the sky, something happens, pop, the chute goes out. And apparently in Japan, these are now authorized. If you have a parachute on your drone, you can get a permit to fly over a populated area. Pretty cool stuff. So I thought that was really, really cool. I thought that was worth including in my wee little video. The Pearl Mini, so that was something that we showed, that we've talked about here on the show that was coming. They had it there to see and play with, and they were showing it off and using it. And this Pearl Mini will be on the market come June-ish. So as soon as they are ready to purchase or even pre-order, they will ship me one so that I can do a demo on it and show it to you here and show you what it's like. So the Pearl Mini, in case you're wondering, is the baby brother of the Pearl-2. The Pearl-2 is the big hardware encoder that I use. It is, which is beyond what I need because I also use a separate switcher, but the Pearl-2 is a complete all-in-one switching, hardware streaming, recording, everything you need for going live device. You can plug in your cameras and go. Super, super high quality. The Pearl Mini is a smaller version, roughly half the price, or a little bit less than that, and it's HD only, not 4K, has fewer inputs, but it has the same hardware encoder as the Pearl-2, so it's a really, really high quality encode, so that's pretty awesome. Let's see here, and so there's anything else on this video that I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, this guy. So Felix, I've talked about Felix lights before. I own a set of them. I really like them. They're expensive LEDs, but they're very, very good quality LEDs, and what they've set up here is basically a track lighting system. So you've got these lights that have an DMX controller. So here in this little bit of the video, you see Ryan moving the sliders, and then here you see what's happening. So let me just kind of play through that. So you've got there's the lights up on the rack, and then a DMX controller. So Ryan's adjusting the sliders, which adjust brightness and hue, and you can totally control the individual lights or group them into banks or whatever you want. And so what you end up with is you'd have a lighting system all around you, and you could control individuals. So if you decide, oh, you got 2 people, you want to spotlight them, dim the rest of it, or however you want, you have total control from the panel. The lights are about $1,000 a piece, though, plus the track, plus the controller, so definitely not a cheap system, but really, really nice quality. And what they had there, the lighting looked really nice and soft, but there were no diffusers. It was just 6 or 8, I have to go back to the video check, lights across the front there, and all shining directly at the demo tabletop area, and the light was really nice, soft quality, even without big diffusion panels. So really very, very cool. I was pretty impressed with that. If you saw anything else in that video that you want to learn more about, if you scroll to that video, and again, we've already linked to that up here, scroll down to the below of the description, of that video, and you'll see time-stamped what each product is. So if you want to know more about it, you can check it out. And for that green screen thing, I am going to get that in here because that's just too much fun. Let's see, Martin says, were there any major broadcasters there, such as BBC? Would be interesting what they're up to. There were broadcasters. I don't know if BBC specifically was there, and I didn't pay any attention to any of them. I'm looking at the gear side of things. I didn't check those guys out, so sorry, I didn't see. Spike DGS says, morning and greetings from Kent in the UK. Greetings back to Kent. Are Panasonic planning to get serious with the GH5 as a studio camera and get it compatible with tethering on Lightroom and Camera One? Okay, so as a studio camera, so we're talking still photography studio camera, they already got serious with it. That is why there is a dedicated tethering app. There is a tethering app for shooting with your Lumix GH5, GH5S, or G9, I believe. Yeah, for the G9. We did a big demo on that. We'll link to that right up here. That was a big, complex, live. You saw tethering. You saw on 3 different screens, me shooting. You saw through the camera, and you saw what the computer was getting. It has its own dedicated app for a variety of reasons, primarily, I think, because of, actually, no, I don't know. It's something to do with format, since like you have a lot more control if Panasonic builds their own versus other companies trying to hook into it. I don't, honestly, look, I'll be honest. I think it would be great if it was able to shoot directly into Lightroom or directly into Capture One. It doesn't, but the system that they have allows 100%, well, not 100%, but like complete control over the camera. You can control your aperture exposure and all kinds of good stuff from within the camera. Way more than you can do in Lightroom. It's more along the lines of what you get in Capture One, but Capture One only works with a very short list of cameras. So this gives you control, complete control over the camera. The import comes into the computer, and then you use a feature like Lightroom's watch folder, or I know Capture One does the same thing, and that pulls the picture in. And you'll see in that video, if you haven't seen it yet, do watch that. You'll see it's very quick from pushing the shutter to it actually showing up in Lightroom. So the workflow is there, so that's that. The answer to your question is they're as serious as they're going to get, which is fully serious. They developed an app. It's a free app that works with those cameras. Download, check it out. You can get that today. It actually shipped sometime late last year. All right, Magnus says the speed is stuttering. Refresh. As far as I can tell, we are good to go. Yep, we're all. Oh, actually, we did have a little stutter a little while ago, and it's back. Oh, that's weird. Huh. We had a stutter, but we are back. Bart says, good seeing you at NAB. Well, it's good seeing you, Bart. As always being twice in a row now. he also says, I actually bought something at the show this year. You ordered the LaCie Copilot drive they designed with DJI. Oh, I didn't see this. Similar to GNARBOX, but only has the offloading features I need. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, so the LaCie drive, so the idea is that you just offload your content, it's not for editing. So the GNARBOX, the difference in what he's referring to there is the GNARBOX allows you to copy your content onto it, but then also edit the content over an iOS or an Android device, yeah, iOS or Android device with the GNARBOX app, or if you're using LumaFusion, the really awesome, super powerful editor, then that is just on iOS. Which, incidentally, if you haven't watched that video yet, I released the video that I did, the whole edit that I did in Europe. That whole thing is released. I released it on Sunday. We'll link to that right here. It's 15 minutes long, so it's a little long for a vloggy kind of thing, but the last third of it is a technical kind of explanation of what's happening, how the GNARBOX works and integrates and everything else, and it's full of really pretty footage of Europe. So, please check that out. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. Give it a thumbs up, give it a comment and all that stuff. People seem to be liking that video. Immediately after I'm done with this, so I'm going to point it up here because it will be linked right here by the time I point to this in the recorded uploaded video, is another video that is a demo, a live demo that I did while at NAB on the B&H booth, which was streamed live to B&H's channel and also streamed live to the GNARBOX channel about this integration. And that's a very short, it's like a 7-minute demo, and I go through in my typical nonstop talking sort of way, a very fast rapid fire explanation of what this is, how it integrates, and then showing the app on iOS and how the LumaFusion app works. Super awesome. You'll want to watch that if you missed the live show. And also in there I have some beauty shots of the hardware, of the 2.0 GNARBOX hardware that's coming out later this year. So check all that out. Okay. Bart says, was any of our Meetup live shows successfully recorded? No, it was not. We ended up with a recording that was totally jumbled with audio out of sync and big gaps in the recording. I don't know what happened. We had an utter, complete, and total hardware failure that day. So I just don't even know what to say. Complete and total embarrassment, but that show is gone forever. So only those of us that were there will have a memory of it. See, next time you got to show up. That's why you got to show up. You got to show up to make sure you get to be part of it. Spike DGS, I have the tethering software and it is good. However, I was on set the other day and the photographer said photographers won't use cameras that are not compatible with CO and Lightroom. Of course not, because one photographer who has an opinion speaks for all of us. That, my friend, is a ridiculous statement. He may not want to use it. Good for him, that's fine. But plenty of photographers are using it. And if you are using Lumix cameras and you want to tether, that's how you do it. If you're desperate to get tethering and you want to use Lumix cameras, that's how you do it. If you're looking for a solid studio solution with a camera that isn't the cost of a Hasselblad, that's the way to do it. So anyway, that's the solution. It's as serious as it gets. Your photographer friend has an opinion. He's entitled to it, but he is not speaking for all photographers. That I can tell you for sure. Okay, that is that. You know how I do the kind of the value for value thing normally? I'm not going to do that today because I have something else that I want you guys to do. So this is a little bit, actually it's a lot of sad, but a buddy of mine, Chris Fenwick, who runs a show called FCPX Grill, Final Cut Pro 10 Grill, which incidentally, in itself, if you're a Final Cut Pro user, you definitely want to subscribe to his podcast. Final Cut Pro 10 Grill, FCPX Grill is a great podcast, really deep insight into Final Cut. They talk about individual features. He interviews a lot of different editors, talks about different ways of using it. Top-notch interview, top-notch podcast. Very, very sadly, Chris's little brother, and by little, he's 50 years old, but his younger brother passed away last week while we were at NAB. It's obviously very sad, tragedy. Chris has recorded a short podcast. It's about 13 minutes long that he's dropped into FCPX Grill. So it's not a Final Cut podcast, but he's put it into there. And it's talking about his brother and talking about the reason for his death and what he would like you as an audience, his audience, my audience, as much of an audience as he can, to help to prevent this from happening to other people. So that's all I'm going to tell you about it. But if you go to iTunes, you'll find it there. You'll see it linked down below to the direct show. But if you search FCPX Grill by Chris Fenwick, that's the show that we're looking for. That's the podcast, and the episode is right here. It's the latest one, number 167. It's just featuring Jonathan Ward Mead Fenwick, and that was Chris's little brother. So please do me a favor, listen to that. This is my ask for my value for value this week. Don't send any money to me this week if you're thinking about doing that. Listen to his podcast. He's going to ask you, he's going to tell you there what he wants you to do to help. And if you are thinking of contributing to either myself or to him, please follow his instructions and see if you can help out there. Chris is a dear friend. This is obviously a terrible thing, so hopefully you can help out with that. So thank you for that. Okay, with that, On that note, I think we're going to wrap this thing up. I feel like I'm forgetting something, Ryan. Is there anything I'm forgetting that I wanted to tell people about today? So kind of all over the place today. I'm really not that sure, but maybe not. Ryan can't think of anything. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. So again, a couple of extra shows to watch. We've linked to them up there. Check out Chris's podcast. Watch my GNARBOX video from Europe. Watch the live GNARBOX video and LumaFusion video that is about to be released, or was just released, depending on when you're watching this. All of them linked up here in the things, and down below you'll find the link to Chris's podcast. So that's it, guys. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. On Monday, we'll be back to normal, fighting strong and all that good stuff, and slightly more awake. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.